Now this next designer is someone that is not an actual haute couture, a part of the syndicate. She is someone that I chose to highlight because I've looked at so many of her designs, I've studied so much of her work, and I realized that had things been a little bit different for her, she might have been someone that we could have actually had within the house syndicate under the American level. And it was just unfortunate that at the time in which she practiced, her race was a huge factor in how far she got into the process. But if you are able to see her designs, as I've attached inside of your notes, you'll see how she was comparatively similar to a lot of the designers that we've actually inducted into that syndicate. So again, you just sort of, I wanted to represent her to show somebody that who didn't get a lot of notoriety, but was also did very beautiful work. I also did a blog post on her. So if you go to the website, you'll see the blog post that I did on her, which goes into great detail into who she was, how she came about, and sort of like her demise. It just goes into a little bit more detail that I'm going to cover right here. So I encourage you to go there and view that. Okay, so her name was Anne Lowe. She was born in 1898. It's very difficult to get tons of background information. She wasn't documented as severely as other designers on this list, but she did have obviously certain notable things. The name of her fashion house was the House of Lowe. She was known for she was a designer of Jacqueline Kennedy's wedding dress. So if you go in my notes, you'll see this very beautiful, elaborate, pleated gown with just this gorgeous silk taffeta, like this very elaborate, beautiful gown. It was created by this designer. Just sort of like a side note, prior to her actually having to debut this design to Jacqueline, her workroom had a severe flood. It was burst pipes, craziness, everything got ruined. And what happened was she had to basically recreate not only her garment, but several of Jacqueline's bridesmaid dresses within like a week or two of the wedding because of this severe damage. And it was never mentioned until her passing, when some people began to speak out that this had actually happened. So she didn't even mention it. So to get a better understanding, a ball gown and these very elaborate gowns, they take months to make. So the fact that she had to crank out a new one in 2 weeks is pretty amazing. Okay, some of her key features was, if you look at some of the images that I have for her, she did a lot with 3D flowers. Like, she was very floral based, as I understood from her designs. She did a lot with florals and fabric manipulation to sort of create these pop out images within the design. She dressed many social elites. She dressed actresses and a lot of high society women. She dies in 1981, and unfortunately she dies with not very much of anything. Combination of poor business practices as well as just the sign of the times. Unfortunately, there were ceilings for her as far as how far she can go. But again, she made beautiful things, and I thought she deserved recognition on this list.